It started with a plume of dust so thick it could have smothered steer. I was barely awake, standing on my porch in scuff boots, a chipped coffee mug warming my hands, when a rattling Ford pickup tore down my driveway at dawn, spitting gravel like it owned my 50 acres of Redstone Creek, Texas. Out stepped a woman, Cassandra Wells, decked out in a neon pink blazer that screamed corporate boardroom. Not my quiet ranch. Her heels sank into the dirt, but she clutched a clipboard like it was a six-shooter, her eyes sharp and unyielding. Before I could mutter a good morning, she marched up, slapped a notice on my door, and announced, loud enough to rattle my horses, by order of the Crest VY EW Homeowners Association, you have 30 days to vacate this property for failing to meet community standards. I stood there, jaw half dropped, coffee going cold, thinking this had to be some kind of small-town stunt. Maybe the local diner boys pulling a fast one. But Cassandra locked eyes with me. All business, no hint of a smile. This wasn't a joke, it was a declaration of war. And she had no clue she'd just picked a fight with the county judge. I'm Caleb Morrow, been running this ranch since my granddad handed me the reins. For 10 years, I've been Mason County's judge, my family's land zoned agricultural, shielded by laws I helped draft. So when Cassandra started listing my violations, my barn's too weathered, my fences don't match her color-coded handbook, my goats are a public menace, I couldn't help but let out a dry laugh. Ma'am, I said, sipping my coffee, you're about 5 miles past your gated community. This ain't your turf. She didn't flinch, just shoved a glossy pamphlet at me, saw Crest VYEW, a future of harmony saw and hissed, you'll comply, Mr. Morrow, or we'll remove you. That's when I spotted the signature on her notice, some nobody claiming to be the county registrar. Problem was, I knew every registrar in this county, and that name wasn't one of them. My gut twisted. This wasn't just an overzealous HOA flexing muscle, this was a scam, and Cassandra was playing a high-stakes game. She strutted back to her truck, heels wobbling, Leah VYing me with a crumpled notice and a fire in my chest. I call my clerk, Sarah, who's sharper than a barbed wire fence and can sniff out a fake document faster than a coyote tracks a rabbit. Sarah, I said, dig up every scrap Crest VY EWHOA has filed in the last year and check if anyone named Cassandra Wells is forging titles. Then I saddled up and rode to the edge of my property where my neighbor, old man Amos, was while VYing a notice identical to mine, same typos, same bogus signature. Caleb, he growled, his Korean War vet eyes narrowing. They're trying to run us off our land. That sealed it. This wasn't a mistake. Cassandra and her HOA were on a land grab, betting we wouldn't know our rights. They thought they could bully us with fancy letterhead and bravado. They didn't know I'd been writing the county rulebook while they were still picking their logo. Over the next week, Cassandra's crew cranked up the pressure. They sent compliance officers, 2 kids in golf carts, clipboards in hand, snapping pictures of my barn, measuring my shed like they were ready to bulldoze it. I caught one poking around my well, and when I hollered, they peeled out so fast they nearly flipped their cart. More citations followed. My hay bales were improperly stored, my dirt driveway unsightly. I hammered a sign to my gate. Saw trespassers will be judged. Saw Sarah call back with a bombshell. Crest VY EU's filings were train wreck fake zoning maps, a notarization seal expired since Bush was in office, and an expansion plan claiming my ranch, Amos's farm, and half a dozen other properties without a whisper of county approval. It was a house of cards, and I was ready to blow it down. The breaking point hit when Cassandra sent 2 teenagers on scooters, for God Sakito, deliver a final EVY tie-in notice. I and VY tied them in for iced tea, took their clipboard, and scrawled saw void saw across it. Signing saw Caleb Morrow, county judge saw. Tell him as well she's got bigger problems than my goats, I said. They wobbled off, looking like they'd rather be grounded for life. That night, I stood on my deck, the sun bleeding over my fields my granddad broke his back for, fields I'd sworn to protect. Cassandra thought she was dealing with a stubborn rancher. She didn't know she'd kicked a hornet's nest, and I was holding the stick. The next morning, I hauled a box of EVY Denke to the county recorder's office. Fake citations, forged maps, screenshots from Crest VY EU's website bragging about their new territory. The clerk, Mandy, took one look at Cassandra's map and snorted. "This looks like my toddler's art project," she said. I leaned in. "That map's being used to threaten EVY tie-ins, Mandy." Mine included. Her eyes widened. Within hours, we confirmed Crest VYEW had filed a zoning overlay that never saw a public hearing. They'd slapped my land and others into their probationary lots, claiming we'd have to comply or sell. It was fraud, plain as day, and at VY OLAT an ordinance I'd written to protect folks like me. I wasn't done. I swung by the zoning office, pulled Crest VY EU's original plat maps, and compared them to Cassandra's fantasy version. Hers sprawled over county roads, even a utility easement, like she thought she could annex half of Texas with a laser printer and a dream. I filed an injunction, sent copies to Sheriff Tate, and called Judge Nora Holt in neighboring Pike County, who agreed to hear the case fast. Nora's got no patience for HOA nonsense, not since one tried to fine her sister over a backyard chicken coop. The showdown came at Crest VY EU's community meeting, a puffed-up name for Cassandra's power trip. I showed up in jeans and a faded plaid shirt, my judge's hat tipped low, blending into the back row of their polished community center. The place was packed neighbors, retirees, even a few folks just there for the free coffee. Cassandra took the stage like she was auditioning for a reality show, flashing a smile that never touched her eyes. She clicked through a slideshow, her fake map glowing red, swallowing our land, calling us resistant landowners who needed to embrace progress. Then she flashed a picture of my barn, labeled saw slated for demolition saw. That's when I stood. The room went dead quiet. Cassandra's smile froze. "Ms. Wells," I said, stepping into the aisle, "you're defaming a county judge in front of 60 witnesses." Gasps rippled through the crowd. She stammered, "This is a private meeting." I held up a folder. "Not when you're forging documents and threatening EVY tie-ins." I got proof: fake maps, fake signatures, fake authority. I tossed a USB to a guy in the front row who'd been recording. "Play it," I said. The screen lit up with Cassandra's greatest hits, her screaming at Amos about his filthy pigs, threatening a single mom over her kid's tire swing, telling her board to make problems vanish. The room exploded: shouts, curses, a soda can hitting the floor. Cassandra lunged for the projector, but the guy blocked her. "It's public now," he said. I walked out as her empire crumbled, her voice cracking as she screamed about slander. The courtroom in Pike County was old-school brick walls, creaky benches, the kind of place where truth lands like a sledgehammer. I walked in not as Judge Morrow, but as Caleb, a rancher fighting for his home. Nora Holt ran a tight ship, her gavel itching to crack. I laid out the case. Original maps versus Cassandra's scribbles, forged signatures, VY Deo of her threats. Cassandra's lawyer tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, but Nora wasn't buying it. "You invented authority that didn't exist," she said, staring Cassandra down. "You bullied people with fake power." The handwriting analyst confirmed the forgeries, and the gavel slammed. Crest VYEW was guilty misrepresentation, fraud, unauthorized enforcement. Cassandra was personally liable, barred from any CI VYC role, and the HOA's charter was suspended. She sat there, pale as ash, her pink blazer looking like a cheap costume. Outside, cameras swarmed. Cassandra mumbled excuses, but no one listened. My neighbors Amos, Teresa, Ja VY from down the road met me on the steps. Amos shook my hand so hard it stung. Teresa hugged me, tears streaming. Back at the ranch, I threw a Bash Ranch Jamboree, we called it. Lights on the fences, a bluegrass band, kids tearing around. We pinned one of Cassandra's notices to a dartboard and took turns. By sunset, it was confetti. A reporter asked what I'd learned. "People fear paperwork," I said. Cassandra didn't need muscle, just a clipboard and a title. But one person who knows the law can stop it. Weeks later, I saw Cassandra at a school car wash, handing out flyers, her spark on. I didn't gloat, just tipped my hat. She froze, then looked away. That was enough. My ranch is peaceful now, grass tall, horses fat. I built a new shed, painted it blazing orange, just to thumb my nose at Cassandra's harmony rules. The fight wasn't about land, it was about who gets to say what's yours. Cassandra thought her title made her untouchable. She forgot titles mean nothing when you're standing on someone else's truth. So what do you think? Was Cassandra just drunk on power, or did she believe her own lies? Could she have been a pawn in a bigger scheme? Have you ever faced someone swinging fake authority like a club? Drop your story below, hit that like button, and subscribe. Let's keep this fight alive.